The Toughest Man in the World. Is this a bad movie? Is water wet? Well, let's get into it. The Toughest Man in the World is a movie from 1984. It lasts about an hour and 34 minutes and it stars, you would tell him, Mr. T. Mr. T as, do you want to tell him? As Bruce Brubaker.
Hey, what's your name?
They call me Bruce.
Was this written by Mr. T? No. When he was 6? No. What's the tagline to this movie? It's harder to win when you play by the rules. What kind of message is that? Anyway, so we open on the city streets of, I don't know if it's New York or Detroit or wherever it is, but there's a cool song playing.
Eat you alive. You can make it to tomorrow. If you take care of today, you have a shot if you have got what it takes to break away. Because the toughest man in the world is the one who knows the right way to go. The toughest man in the world.
And it's called Toughest Man in the World by Mr. T. That song's playing while we see the streets. We see a group of kids playing and then they run and steal an old man's stereo from his store. He gives chase and they mug him. They take his wallet and pull a knife on him. Yeah, and it's like The Wire. But then Bruce Brubaker shows up and what's he wearing? It doesn't matter. I know it's the early 80s that come on, make an effort. Well, he straightens the kids up, he scares two of them off, one of them pulls a knife on him, so he befriends him. Yes, he does.
Bit weird.
He says, come along to this youth organisation that I run tomorrow and I'll give you your knife back. This kid is Billy Green and he'll play an important part in the movie. Yeah, well, as important as it can be. So Bruce Brubaker, I'll just call him Bruce, sure. He runs a youth club where he teaches kids basketball. Yeah, and there's like 60 kids at it. It's really popular. He doesn't charge them or anything. He doesn't take any money. But he finds out the community centre is about to be closed down due to funding, so he needs money. But also, he works nights as a bouncer. Yes, they're a very fancy club. How can you tell it's fancy? Because he's a bouncer that wears a tuxedo. Like bow tie and everything. Very classy. Yeah, you don't see that in Roadhouse. No, you don't. But that night at the club, someone is kicking off and causing trouble, and it just so happens to be the toughest man in the world. Yeah, this guy has won it for like last 3 years. He's on the toughest man in the world competition. And his name is Tank Weems. Tank Weems. Close. Tanker Ween. Just as silly. Yeah, well, Tanker Ween is the toughest man in the world, apparently. Mr. T kicks him out. He's drunk and he's leery and he's aggressive. Mr. T throws him out, no problem. Bruce goes to see the mayor about funding for his community centre because these kids will have nowhere to go and he'll have nothing to do all day, I guess. Anyway, he keeps getting sent away. The mayor can't see you now. The mayor can't see you now. He's sent to different departments. He always turns up. He always turns up in a suit. Yeah, he makes an effort. And eventually he goes along one day and he decides, I'm going to sit here all day until the mayor can see me. Yeah, he's brought a little packed lunch. Yeah. And then the mayor still can't see him, so he kicks down the door. And instantly gets arrested. Yes, he does. He spends a few hours in the cell until a city official he's befriended and fallen in love with, yeah, she bails him out. Back at work at the club, there's a fight. Mr. T throws a load of guys around, beats them all up, and one guy smashes a chair over Mr. T's face, and he doesn't even blink. In fact, it looks like he doesn't even touch him. Check this out! Anyway, while all this is going on, he realises he does need money. He's befriended Billy Green, yeah, because he wakes up one morning to a phone call in his apartment and he washes his face from the fish stole beside his bed. Yeah, poor fish. And then he goes to Billy's apartment, finds out Billy's not there, but Billy is sleeping in a little like cabinet downstairs. Yeah, so Mr. T takes him home, says, "You live with me now," and then takes his top off. Help. He shows him his room, he says, "Look at this, this is my display from when I was in the Marines. All this stuff is irreplaceable. Be careful of that photo." It's a photo, how can you not be careful? Well, he says, "Be careful of that photo. It's one of a kind." Yeah, of course it is, or it's not. In fact, it's a photo of like his battalion or whatever in the Marines, his troop. So I'm guessing at least 20 other guys have got this photo. But otherwise, what photo is not one of a kind? Then he shows off his weights, shows how strong he is. But as the movie goes on, we find out Billy is being harassed by some mobsters, basically the Mafia. And they're like, "Hey, keep selling stuff for us." Mr. T chases them off, and then later Mr. T and Dilly had a big argument. Dilly trashes that photo, yes he does, and runs back to the Nod. Yeah. And it's because Mr. T had organised a big charity basketball game to raise funds for the community centre, and everyone has been sold tickets for $5 a piece. It sold out, but then we find out Billy had been telling people, oh, it also involves a raffle, and Billy had been telling people, "I guarantee you'll win if you buy these tickets." Yeah, and then Teetle complained, and the whole thing is shut down. So Mr. T belittled Dilly in front of everyone. Yeah, that's what caused him to fall out and run off. Eventually, Mr. T realises the only way he's going to make enough money to save the club is to enter and win the toughest man in the world contest. Yeah!
You know, you could be the toughest guy in the world.
So then they got a terrible training montage. His boss sponsors him the $1,000 to enter the contest, and then him and his mother train Mr. T. And there's this wall that's like a foot higher than Mr. T. Yeah, it's not massive or anything, and he can't go over it. It's got a rope. You jump up, grab the rope, climb over, pull yourself over. He was a Marine, and he can't climb this little wall. This is his stumbling block in the assault course. He's really worried about it. He also has to learn how to pull a fierce face, which he's been doing the whole movie, but now he seems to have forgotten how to do it. And then finally it's competition time. Yeah, you think this is it? It's a tournament, but it's just day one over a course of 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah. It's not day one of like 30 days, it's day one of 3 or 4 days over the course of 3 or 4 weeks. So day one, it's a weightlifting contest. Mr. T wins, no problem. Then day 2, the following Saturday, is an assault course. Yeah. And he's doing alright. He's keeping pace with everyone else. He starts to overtake a few guys. It's like Takeshi's Castle. Anyway, at the end of the obstacle course, it's the wall. The little wall he can't go over. So, he doesn't. He just runs through it, smashes it with his face. A, ouch, and 2, surely that's against the rules. You're supposed to go over the wall. If you just have to get past the wall, then you could just walk round it. Well, anyway, he's qualified to the next round. Yeah, it's going to be a boxing contest between him and whoever else is qualified. He's going to eventually have to box Tanker Ween, the reigning champion. But we find out Tanker Ween and his manager are now in league with the Mob. Yeah, so they make him look like he's injured. They get him like as if he's broken his arm or been in like a car crash or something. to make everyone bet against him, and then he'll turn up at the final and win the contest, making everyone on that side a whole load of money. But they also decide, let's take this Bruce Brubaker out of the picture. He's too much of a threat. Let's say Billy wants to meet him in this warehouse. When he comes along, we'll drug him so he can't compete. Yeah. So they lure him to this warehouse. He goes in, Billy is there, being held captive. Billy tries to escape the gangsters in this warehouse, and it's a whole big chase scene with tables falling over and shell units falling over, and Billy fleeing the bad guys with no music at all. Anyway, Mr. T gets there, and it's a bit of a fight scene. Again, no music at all. That's right, but there is music when salvation comes, because Mr. T is about to have his eye burned with a cigar. And then a school bus full of children crashes through the wall. All those kids are definitely dead. They're not dead, but they do jump out along with Mr. T's boss from the club, and they start fighting these grown men. These grown men with guns. The mafia. All these children fighting them. And the children win. It culminates the big fight between Bruce Brubaker and Tanker Ween, and Mr. T wins, of course. He wins by dropping a wedding cake on this guy's face. Yeah, a soft sponge and icing cake takes out the toughest man in the world. The police arrive, arrest the bad guys, and they're like, Hey Drews, you okay? And Bruce says, yeah, we've got to go and win some money. His boss's mum says, don't you know who this is? This is the toughest man in the world. Yes, they head off to the tournament, and then it ends. That's it. It's over. Credits. Yeah, we don't see any more of the tournament. Other people qualified. It wasn't just him and Tank. There's going to be other people fighting that he just assumes he's going to roll in and win the cash prize. Okay. Shows!
You don't know? That's the toughest man in the world.
It's a bit of a strange ending. It's a bit crap. That is The Toughest Man in the World from 1984. Did you grow up watching this? No, I'd never seen this before. I remember coming home from school one day and my gran was saying, you've just missed a movie called The Toughest Man in the World. It was hilarious. Yeah. I don't think it's supposed to be hilarious. No, it is not. But she said it's ridiculous, it's hilarious. It's a shame we missed it. And I could never find it for years and years, and then I found it on a certain streaming website called YouTube. So check it out. Don't check it out. It's terrible. Check out the song though.
You have a shot if you have got what it takes to break away. Because the toughest man in the world is the one who knows the right way to...
Yeah, Dennis Farina, do you know who that is? Oh yeah, from Snatch and Get Shorty and things like that. Yeah, he's in it. Uncredited, just like he was at the Oscars when he died. Yeah, he was not acknowledged when he passed away, which is a bit of a crime, but there you go. Anyway, let us know what you think of The Toughest Man in the World. Oh, I know what I think. It's terrible. It is definitely a dad movie. It's like an after-school special, summer holiday special, you know. It's not really a movie, is it? Definitely not. Anyway, hit like, hit subscribe, watch another video. He just runs through the wall.